The final game, my children were not quite, Larry's born in 61, so he wasn't quite 1. Carol not quite 3, Lynn not quite 5, and Jimmy not quite 7. So his mother was coming down to mind them, and his stepfather and I were to fly out for the final game to Evansville. But Carol had developed the measles in those days before all the measles shots, and she had developed pneumonia then. And our doctor, whom I loved and worked for a while, Dr. Morningstar, came and gave her a shot of penicillin. And I said, I can't leave. I can't fly out there. So we canceled our tickets. So he had called during the day, how's everything? I said, fine, but I'm just so busy that I don't think I can make it. And he bought it. I can't imagine it. I said, but I'll listen, say a prayer and all. And I just couldn't leave this child. So he's walking onto the court for the start of the game. Our team is warming up. And someone from Emmitsburg came up to him and said, oh, Jim, thank God Carol's better. He said, what? Thank God what? And he left the floor 5 minutes before the game was to start and found a telephone and called. I said, Jim, he said, when I ask you how everything is and you don't tell me the truth, he said, I want to know. I said, okay, she has pneumonia and this and that. And he said, I don't ever want you to say things are fine if they're not. So from the rest of those days, from 62 to 03, the dog died, the pipes burst. You want to know what it's like when you're away? Do I have a story for you? Emergency appendectomy, emergency. I was trying to be good and brave. He said, I don't want it. So there he left the floor, yelled at me over the phone, and went back and coached the national championship. A friend of ours took me to the airport, and I took Jimmy with me. He's probably in that picture. And then I had babysitters, and we met the plane. And when LaSalle won a national championship in '54, he was assistant coach. And his coach, they didn't have money to send the assistant. So the head coach gets off the plane, and he was Jim's coach when Jim was playing. Jim said, Kenny, how was it? And he said, routine. So they take me down to National Airport, and he gets off the plane, and I said, Jim, how was it? And he said, routine, the buzzword. And then we came up, and then I came and got all the kids, and we went in town. And then afterwards, Frank Ligarano, who lived where security is now, he had a champagne party. Oh, I'm a wreck. Right, Jack? You know. Jim said he's very tired of, I always sat right behind him, he's very tired of turning around and seeing me in the fetal position. I'm not a real calm person. I'm sure that surprises you. But it was fun. It really was fun. I loved it. I just felt that when our team took to the court, there's nobody going to beat us. And I said to a reporter once, Jimmy Henneman, they were introducing, you know how some teams, when you introduce them, they're jumping around. Our team would go out like this. Remember? Yeah. And they'd stare. And I said to Jimmy Henneman, who you picking? He said, how could I pick against those guys? They had like this killer in their eyes. That was just the way they were. When he would call me, I could not tell by his expression if we won or lost. He had that much control of his emotions. I mean, that's unbelievable. I'd say, yes. Hi there.
How'd it go? Fine.
Good. He would say good or no good. But he would just talk like this. And I still to this day, 57 years, and I don't know how he did it, but that's the control he had. And he just doesn't ever lose control. It's amazing. When he sees some of these guys go bananas, crazy, he doesn't like to deal with that. But I would say, Jim, and he would call. Sometimes he would take a little time to call. I would just be dying, sitting here wondering. But we didn't lose too many, so that was a good thing. When he came off the court after the 4 overtime Albright, you could have wrung his sport coat out. You just could. It was just absolutely drenched. And I remember that. They stayed up because they were playing the next night, same spot, you see. So we didn't come home. But I commuted back and forth because of the little ones. And yeah, I could have wrung his sport coat out. But he was young. I didn't worry about him. Now I would probably have an ambulance standing by. But yeah, I didn't worry about him. I felt he could handle it pretty much. Yeah. Jim would never have the boys down. I thought, I was 21 when we came. And I thought, oh, well, I didn't know how to boil water. I thought I better learn to cook. He'll have the boys down, coaching them. And he said, oh, no. He said, I am not their friend. He was almost the same age. He was 25. He said, I am their teacher. He said, if they want me, I would come immediately, but they are not coming to the house. This is off limits to them. I thought that was not a friendly thing to do. But I grew to understand that because he said, some of my boys are more introverted. And I don't ever want to put a boy into a game because I like him when there's a guy that should be in that maybe I'm not too fond of, but that he should be in. So the way he kept it, didn't he, Jack? Mm-hmm. Lynn, she loved it up there. There was always one of them coming home to get stitches. They'd run into the stands or they'd, yeah, always one of them. And when he'd go away, there would always be something happen, but that's the way it goes. So it's been great. This was the most exciting that I could ever imagine.